Okay, any views expressed are the opinion of the guest. That's not a representation because the programming reflects that Politickin with 4 eyes. It's really no competition. Suffocating with the dope, you know I be twisting. Real ninjas out in the field, now we cotton picking. Not to mention our intention to cover topics and many of the subjects. I got more lines than the deli at the Publix. With King Pharaoh, PoPolitickin, I'm pistol whipping. Rappers jeopardizing hip-hop position. My opposition, intuition, prediction like writers on The Simpsons. To witness the glimpses from higher up dimensions. My bitches be fighting gremlins like Phoebe Cates. Let me cook, stovetop oven, easy bakes. Hydroponic with them seaweed flakes. Yeah, these rappers started from the bottom. Power bottom, TD Jakes. Unfollowed, talking about have you ever been swallowed? Regardless of race, color, or creed, you get Apollo'd. We politickin, tickin', we straight politickin, tickin'. When it's a great show, you got to listen. Listen to that politickin, tickin'. This for the politickin, tickin'. We straight politickin, tickin'. When it's a great show, you got to listen. Listen to that politickin, tickin'.
Welcome back to PoPolitickin.com, your home for self-help meets hip-hop. Right now, we're live on YouTube, Twitter, and X. Check me out on Spotify, Apple Music. 1212, I'm a place to be with Christian Ray Flores. How you doing?
What's up, Po? Thanks for having me.
I'm good, man. I feel like you live about 3-4 lives already.
That is true. That is very true, my friend. Yes.
Yeah, I was like, man, where do we start? So I guess we just started at the beginning.
Yeah. What do you want me to talk about first?
I want you to just talk about growing up. I was reading that you was a refugee.
Yeah, I'm an international guy, and basically I'm like a half-breed, right? Half Russian, half Chilean, born in Moscow. We were living in Chile, we're supposed to just stay there, normal life, and then politics happened. So there was a military coup there. My dad was in a concentration camp. There were a lot of people that got killed, died, and stuff. And we ended up being refugees. Yeah, we're in a refugee facility for a while, United Nations. Got asylum in Germany, and that basically sent us traveling all over. So I changed 4 countries by age 7. We went from Chile to Germany to Russia to Africa. And I find myself 7 years old in Mozambique, 4 countries by age 7.
Mm. Yeah. So what do you think that taught you?
Everything. Diversity of views, culture, language, body language. Taught me a lot about the richness of the world, people out there. It taught me a lot about oppression, about power, about the value of freedom. It taught me a lot about creativity. You name it. Quite a bit.
And then where are you located right now?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Okay, cool. I would say I'm a military veteran, but I was gonna say, as far as because you were saying I never viewed it as like through the eyes of a refugee. I'm a military veteran, just American veteran. But as far as how do you feel about the immigration? I don't know how it is in Texas, but I know it's kind of picking up out here in California. I'm in San Diego, with the ICE and everything. What's your opinion on that?
Well, it's not, I don't have a very strong opinion about theatrics, right? And most of the stuff is just theater, political theater. One side opens the border, lets a bunch of people in, doesn't make quite much sense. The other side accuses the first side, closes the border, starts deporting people. Also goes a bit too far, right? A bit brutal. I think it's just common sense, right? We're all human beings, we want to be treated with dignity, but I see it. I immigrated here as a legal immigrant. Yeah, I got a green card, I pay my taxes, got my citizenship. So I love being here as an immigrant. I'm grateful to be an American. And I know what it means to be a refugee. I know what it means to be in mortal danger at home and have to go. I have friends who've walked through the desert to come to the United States and became productive citizens, started businesses, created jobs, that sort of thing. I have friends who crossed when they were 12, and then something in the documentation was weird, and they're in danger of being deported. At the same time, I realized that it's just common sense, right? Like if you're in your neighborhood, let's say, where do you live in San Diego specifically?
Oceanside.
Oceanside. So it's a nice area, I'm assuming, right? You have, let's say something happens, you have a bunch of people show up at your doorstep, let's say 15, 20 people, and say, hey, man, things are bad where we came from. We need some food. We need a roof over our head. Would you let us in? Well, on a rational level, I think as a compassionate person, you'll probably go, yeah, man, I want to take care of you. Okay, I have this garage, or I have this spare bedroom or a casita in the back. I'll let you in. I'll give you some food. I can't do 20. I can do 5. And when, you know what I'm saying? Like I can do 3. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's not, but it makes sense, right? Like if you have compassion, you'll probably feed them at the very least. But it's up to you to decide how many, how long, all of those things.
Right.
But so it's sort of the same thing on a country level. I feel like, look, of course it's good to be compassionate, to allow people to get a second chance. I was allowed that, right? When we immigrated to Germany first. And they welcomed us, they gave us an apartment, they gave my parents an opportunity to get a job, that sort of thing. I was so grateful. But, at the same time, so I'm a recipient of that, and I know what it feels like to be in despair. But I think on a common sense level, you can't just demand. Like I can't call you and say, Po, you got to get all 25 in indefinitely. You need to share all your food, all your clothing, all your rooms with them. What are you going to say to me?
You say no.
You're going to say no. Exactly. That's what I think about immigration, basically.
And then so I was, so from your childhood, then it seemed like I saw you went to school, you got your education, and then you became a pop star in Russia.
I did, yeah.
I saw you had the long hair and everything. That's all right. So how did that happen?
I had a lot of, yeah. Well, I was in Africa. I started singing when I was like a baby, and I had a good voice. So my parents would go, Christian, sing for our friends when they come over, that kind of thing. So I had a good tone naturally. And, I learned a little music. I started breakdancing when I was a teenager, so I could move after a while. I became real good. So, but it was nothing, it was not a career. It's just, I happened to know how to do these things. I was getting an economics degree in college, and I was like, I was underground breakdancer, right? Like this is the Soviet Union. Imagine that. Like it's not like New York City. It's underground, real underground. And then when college ended, I was like, I did like international trade for like a year, and as an artist, I was bored out of my mind. I just couldn't do it. And I'm like, man, maybe I should do show business. Things are freeing up. The Soviet Union collapsed. There's no monopolies anymore. There's no gatekeepers. So I started started auditioning at different clubs and worked really, really hard. And I was basically on national television within a year, very quickly. And then it went from that to bigger venues to sports arenas across 15 different countries. So I was selling millions of albums, and that was TV, radio, magazine covers, the works, basically.
So what happened? Why you didn't stay with that?
I got restless. I got restless. I didn't like it. I didn't like it after a while. It was very, very good for like 5-6 years. Then after that, I was like, this is, I don't know. It's hard to explain because I know that musicians might be listening now and going, dude, what is wrong with you? Right?
I know. I'm listening, trying to figure it out. I'm like,
yeah, like what? But I was,
I wanted, stepped away from the fame. That's what you're telling me.
Well, I was sort of, I was not bored. I was sort of there were parts of me that were dormant, right? Because it's like 15 countries, same, it's like airplane, hotel, venue, recording studio, airplane, hotel, venue, recording studio, party. I've traveled the world. I have an economics degree. I speak 4 languages. None of that is activated in that career. And I was like,
bored.
I was bored. Yeah, I was like, this is like, I get it. I get that I'm really lucky. but I don't really want to do this for 20 years, you know? And I sort of started transitioning. I became a Christian. I wanted to do ministry work. I wanted to do philanthropy. I want to serve the poor. I wanted to be an entrepreneur, you know? And so I sort of gradually phased out of that.
And what 4 languages do you know?
Well, English, Spanish, Russian, and Portuguese. Those 4.
That's how you learned them all before you was 9?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was lucky, right? Because kids learn quickly.
Did you have Duolingo back then, or you just learned?
No, they had nothing. They had nothing. They just throw you in an African school with all African kids, and that's it. That's how you learn. You have no choice.
And then, so you had they said you had the anthem for the presidential campaign for Boris Yeltsin.
That was, yeah. I had a number 1 hit at the time called Our Generation, and then Boris Yeltsin was running against the communists. The communists were winning, actually, and he wanted to mobilize the youth, right, against the communists. And my song was like perfect for that, right? I was like number 1 at the time, like every party, every club, everything. And it was a mix of hip hop and R&B and pop. It was very Western sounding, you know, because I grew up all over the world. So it was, you know, I had my influences basically. I loved hip hop. I loved R&B. That was my jam basically. And I started doing that kind of music. And not many people, actually almost nobody in Russia at the time knew how to do that. And I did. Mm. So, and then they just used it as an anthem. They asked me to campaign for Boris Yeltsin, so I was on TV, radio, tours, that kind of thing.
Do they still is your music like still streaming and stuff?
Yeah, I think it's there. It's on YouTube. You can, if you put my name in, you'll see a lot of 90s clips there in modern podcasts because I'm doing podcasts. But yeah, it's on the Russian platforms everywhere. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a lot of people listen to it anymore because it's been 25 years, something like that. So, but yeah, every once in a while I get fan mail, still email. So people post on social, man, you were awesome. Where'd you go, man? You know, like people complain to this day.
And then I would say, so then like you switched from music to entrepreneurship and philanthropy.
Yeah.
So how did you get it? You was kind of talking about it. You said you was bored. So
yeah.
Just let us know some of the businesses you started.
Well, back in Russia, I produced other bands first. I did a lot of philanthropic work. We worked with orphans, and we you know, I was the show business guy, right? So I would bring the celebrities, did shows for kids and everything, big events. Michael Jackson came to one of my events, and so I did that. When we moved to the States, I did charity work. I was director for Latin America for this big charity, and then I started doing. I had a music video production, and music production company in LA. So it was Hollywood producers, Eastern European artists. That was the niche. So we did that for a while, and it was really good actually. It was like I worked with some of the most amazing, like top pros in America, and like people that were heroes of mine. All of a sudden I was hiring them to do work for me. It was pretty surreal. So I did that one for a while. Then the Eastern European market sort of dried up because of economic instability, that sort of thing. We started a marketing agency that we still have called Third Drive Media, and we basically did brand strategy for startups and execution. So video, logo, branding, websites, that kind of thing. So we still do that. So we did that. And then my latest one is I did a couple of nonprofits. We have an after-school academy in Africa, in Mozambique, where I grew up. I started a church in Austin that grew, and I passed it on. And then I have now a coaching business. So it's called Exponential Life. We do high-performance coaching and personal brand development.
I would say you saw my Michael Jackson, but I see Prince back there.
I love Prince, yeah.
What's some of your favorite Prince songs?
Well, beyond the obvious, Purple Rain, Kiss, you know, When Doves Cry.
Give us a B-side song.
Is that right?
No, I said give us a B-side song.
A B-side song.
They might not know about. That's not that popular.
I don't know about the B-sides actually, because I know so I don't know what the B-sides were actually, because I know so many of them. I just actually last night went to see Sign of the Times on IMAX. That's playing.
Okay.
I went to see it with my wife. It's fantastic. So yeah, I love Prince.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I'm a fan of Prince too. The Purple Rain, I like Purple. I mean, Sign of the Times. I was trying to watch it, but probably should try to watch it again now. But when I
Yeah.
was younger, I didn't understand it because it's like
Well,
black and white, right?
it's very complex. No, no,
Yeah,
that's the Black and White was Under the Cherry
Graffiti
Moon.
Bridge.
No, that
Oh,
was
and
Under
then,
the Cherry Moon.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, all those movies.
Yeah, so Sign of the Times is a concert movie, so it's just a show.
Oh, okay.
But it's very, very complex, like jazz, gospel. It's just unbelievable stuff. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Who your give me your top 5 favorite artists, music artists.
Uh, Current or back then?
You can do current.
Current. I would say I like Bruno Mars. I like Ed Sheeran. I like pop quite a bit. Um, those are I think those are the top two. There's like more obscure ones like Keishi. He's like this Asian kid, does this smooth R&B kind of stuff. Um, I like from the modern ones. What else? Uh, I love Maroon 5. I don't know if it's even modern anymore, right? They've been around for 20 years. Maroon 5, I love. Those are great.
Mm.
I don't think they make superstars like they did back then though. I don't
No.
think like, maybe Taylor Swift numbers wise, but it's not the same.
Yeah, not
It's
Michael
not
Jackson.
this yeah, it's not Michael Jackson or Prince or even Whitney Houston,
Madonna. Yeah.
Madonna, like mega stars like
Like that's how you know already. Like we
yeah.
had like one name people, Madonna, Prince.
Madonna, Prince, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you don't got no one namers no more.
Yeah,
Everybody got Taylor Swift.
I don't think we have people of that kind of scale and caliber anymore. Maybe Taylor Swift comes the closest, but I don't think we have people that Whitney Houston was just one of those.
And then I was you kind of mentioned I was actually looking at your coaching page. So what made you get involved with coaching?
Well, somebody helped coach me when I was in the peak of my career and I was really struggling emotionally.
So when was this? Like, was this like what time
This
frame this life
I
was?
was 26 years old. I had a number one hit. I was clinically depressed.
Wow, for real?
Really, really, yeah. And from the outside, people a lot of people would want my life, but in real life, no, I'm just
So you
miserable.
was depressed because you wasn't using your skill set?
No, because I was, when you become really, really, really famous, people put you in this one category, like you're the best at this. But there's other areas of you that are weak, right? So, for me, it was romance. Oh, my parents, I come from 3 generations of broken homes. I didn't know how to find a woman, keep a woman, build a family, like zero. So when you're famous, on top of that, you get a lot of female attention. So I would be like, really, I was confused. So I would date and break up and date and break up. And I would basically sabotage every relationship because I was scared. And I did this one girl who was, a very cliche, like runway model type situation. And she got pregnant. We had a baby, and she left. And she left because I was treating her not well, and she cut me off. So I was so ashamed of the person who I was, really, really desolate because of my because I couldn't see my daughter, and I felt like a failure. And when I was feeling that way, I met this guy who was this Canadian missionary, and he happened to have the things that I didn't have. He had a great family. He had skills. He was third generation Christians or fourth generation Christians. Like this is a guy with a lot of wisdom, right? Like life wisdom that I didn't have. And I remember saying, "How can I get what you have?" And he was like, "I'll teach you." And I became his apprentice basically. And he mentored me, and I'm still really good friends with him. But he taught me so much about so many things that I didn't know. I didn't know anything about. So you can be at the very top 1% of something and be at the bottom of something else, right? And that's why I coach now, because I believe I have a lot of compassion and love for the high achievers, the people that really strive, they risk it all, and they get to a certain level, but they have certain areas, certain dimensions in life where they're just not good. There's cracks there. And because they're not good at it, even the thing that they were known to do, they start suffering. They don't do it well anymore. And I learned back then that one person can come into your life if you trust him or her and can coach you through that. And then you can do things that you never dreamed before you could do. So that's why I coach now. I coach high achievers. I coach people who want to make a difference in the world. And I help them really see life holistically and be at peak performance for most of their lives and build something that has a lot of impact and legacy.
Mm-hmm. And then what would you say some of your philosophies that you put in your coaching?
Well, first, I basically, the first thing I do is like, hey, I know your life. I know that you have complexities. Like the more advancements you have in your career, the more success you see, the more complicated it becomes, right? More money, more problems, more responsibility, more problems. So you end up in a state where you are anxious a lot, in survival mode. And the first thing I address is like, look, what fuel are you running on? Is it despair? Is it behind? Is it survival? Is it fear? Is it love, creativity, freedom, sharp, clear thinking, strategic thinking? What's the fuel? And the first thing I do is like, look, we have to switch you from all the bad fuel onto all the good fuel, rocket fuel. So you can go from high pressure to creative, joyful, clear every single day. So that's the first thing. The second one is, okay, what is from all the things that people, when you do well in anything, people want more of you, you know? And more of you is not available, right? You only have this many hours in
24 hours,
you know, and you can't do everything. So I say, okay, what's your edge? Let's find out what are the things about you that are uniquely you, that you can be best at, that you can focus on, and then either delegate, automate, or shut down everything else, so that you can be known you can be the best at something rather than a mediocre at everything. So that's the edge piece. And then the third one, we talk about brand, personal brand, and in the modern world, you know, if you can be known anywhere at any time for something, and it's easier than any time in history. So if you want to have an impact, you should have a personal brand out there. You should choose a platform. You should figure out what you're going to focus on, and you should serve people. And then you will not have to look for a job ever again, basically.
Mm-hmm. And then I would say, because you say you help people lead like extraordinary lives. Mm-hmm. How do you help those people like what do you say is keeping people from breaking through and living an extraordinary life?
Fear.
Fear what?
They think it's fear of failure, but it's actually fear of rejection.
Mm.
It's not really fear of failure. It's what are they going to say if I fail? You know, and that's what it is. And it's easy to fix, actually, you know.
But who are they? Just people in general?
Yeah, people. You said what keeps people from leaving those yeah, that's the, you know, if you can't really lead an extraordinary life unless you put yourself out there and do something bold. And if you put yourself out there, you're going to be stressed out. People are going to like it or not like it. You know, it's very stressful to lead in any space, right? You have to risk, and people don't like risk. We fear risk. So fear is the answer. People are afraid of not only of failure, but they really, at the deepest level, we are afraid of rejection. What are my friends going to say about me? You know, if I tried this and I fail.
Yeah, but I don't know. I always look at it. If you try and fail, you're still closer than most people. Like you tried.
Yeah.
And, they always the Michael Jordan quote, like he took so many shots to make shot, you know. So it's like you gotta keep shooting no matter what. You're not gonna win at everything.
And that's why Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And most people are not.
Then I would say, so describe your average day right now. Like, What time you wake up? I always ask people, what do you do when you first wake up? First thing you do when you wake up.
I meditate and pray. I usually write. I do a lot of creative work first thing in the morning. I have, of course, a podcast. I have a newsletter that drops twice a week. I write content. So I do maybe 2 hours of writing every day. I go out in the sun. I take my supplements and I walk for about 30, 40 minutes. That's my morning. Then I come back and I make breakfast for my wife. And I wake her up and I say, hey, breakfast is ready. And then we chill, we relax a little bit, then we go about our business and we start work. And then in the evening, I have sort of a wind down ritual as well. It starts with the gym around 5-ish. And then we just sort of chill. We cut it off. We do nothing else.
So you walk and you go to the gym?
Yeah, every day. Yeah.
And I would say, so you said you're married, so it seemed like your mentor, he helped you with that.
26 years, baby.
Okay.
26 years.
You got kids too?
3 beautiful daughters. Yeah.
Okay.
Happy as can be. Never had anything even approximating divorce.
And then what advice would you give to someone in a marriage, far as with the relationship part?
Get mentorship, get guidance. Submit to somebody who is better ahead of you. Let them guide you.
I guess that's the problem. Like, how do you know when it's how do you know you have a good mentor? Because sometimes you might get you pick the wrong person and you going down the wrong path.
Well, I mean, you judge a tree by its fruit. Do they have a good marriage? Do they love each other? Do the kids respect them? If you have worked with them and met with them for a while, are they making you better or not? I mean, you find out pretty quickly, actually.
Then what advice would you give to fathers about parenting?
About parenting, don't outsource the education and the parenting of your kids to other people. You are the main guy. You are the main girl. And just because they go to a school doesn't mean you don't have to stay there very, very intimately connected. So we invested a lot in our kids, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy. We traveled, we took them places, beautiful places, hard places. We went into inner city situations where we'd do charity work, and they were there in the thick of it. They would go to slums, in African slums with us. They know the good and the ugly, and they, of course, have been to the Areopagus in Athens. They've been to Paris. So they've seen a lot of the world, and that's very intentional on our part.
Then how would you define success?
I think success quite clearly is to live out your purpose in life. Knowing half of it is knowing what you're supposed to be doing in the first place. And that's hard. We don't know that. It's hard to find. So searching, only the courageous people search, why am I here? And then once you know it, to actually live it out every day.
So you start off with know thyself?
Yeah, know thyself.
How can you learn about yourself?
Well, I mean, for me, it's God, the Bible, because it's the book that opens those secrets, right? It's ancient wisdom. There's a God. This is what he wants. This is how I fit in. This is how he thinks of me. This is what I'm supposed to be doing in relationship to him and other people. And that's it. Like that's a journey. It will take you a lifetime.
And I would say, so we talked about, what are you most proud of in your career so far?
Oof. In career, I think I'm proud that I could quite a few things. I'm proud that I could write a song and create music that moves millions of people, that people will tell their friends about, and they want to listen to it, and they know every word. So that was a big deal. I'm proud that I've done charity work in Europe, in the US, all across the US, Latin America, Africa. and that I've been able to help thousands of people that are in distress, or they're refugees, they're running away from war, or they're just in despair from poverty. Really proud of that. I'm proud of the sort of when I did production work, maybe like a decade ago, that, this boy who grew up in poor in Africa or the Soviet Union behind the Iron Curtain, that I couldn't even dream to go to a live concert of some of my heroes, back then. And then I find myself in Hollywood collaborating. Like, one of my favorite musicians growing up was George Duke. He produced Michael Jackson and Anita Baker, all the greats. He was himself a great artist. And I'm working in the studio with him, collaborating. And he's my friend. He wants to hang out. Or I used to just love the Kiss logo, right, for the band Kiss with the double lightning. And I find myself in the studio of Kiss producing an album with the guy who produced Psycho Circus for a client of mine. Or shooting a video with somebody who worked with Sting and Britney Spears and all the greats, and I would produce that video. That kind of stuff, right? So I'm proud of those things where you come from nothing, less than nothing, right, from all over the world, to being able to be in the presence and collaborating with somebody so gifted, and now I'm proudest most of the fact that I can coach really a whole range of people, everybody from a physics professor, special ed teacher, to a financier, entrepreneur, and all of that experience that I've gained over the decades, I can invest in somebody and I can see their lives sort of start picking up internally, externally, career-wise. They start seeing the light and start believing in themselves on a level that didn't believe before. And that's super gratifying. I think there's a season for everything, right? And I'm in a season where I am the greatest good that I can do is to mentor people that can make a difference.
What would you say? What's next for you now?
I think honestly, that's really the thing for the next 20 years, the coaching, because it's a great thing to be able to do in the years where you have a lot to offer, where you have so much expertise, So to me, that's probably going to be the main focus. My podcast, writing books, so all of that together is one thing. And on a personal level, really the highest achievement that I have is I have a very happy marriage. That the thing that I didn't know how to do back then, I come from 3 generations of broken homes. And I said, I'm going to figure this out. And that's why I was coached by this guy. I was like, I need to learn this. And I was curious enough, I was humble enough to follow his lead, and he taught me. And I have 3 daughters who love me, respect me. And that's the highest legacy. Of all legacies, that is the legacy. That's the thing that I'm proudest of, is that I have a loving, happy, thriving family.
Then I was going to, can you talk about your books and your podcast some?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I have one book out. I haven't started on the second one. The one that I have out is called Little Book of Big Reasons to Love America. And it's basically an immigrant's perspective on why America is a great country. So 10 chapters, 10 reasons, very optimistic. You can read it in about 3.5 hours, lots of illustrations, things like that. I have a newsletter called the Exponential Edge. So the newsletter and the podcast are Exponential Edge, XE. The XE, you see the sign behind me, the XE sign. So the XE is Exponential Edge, and it's strategies for high performance and personal brand building. Straight up, that's basically what I talk about all the time. Everything involving having the highest impact in the world. That's what I. That's
I can see it now. XE.
XE, yeah. So the newsletter, it's at ChristianRayFlores.com, and the podcast is everywhere there's a podcast, the YouTube, all those places.
How long you been doing the podcast?
About 2 years. I had a different podcast before, but I was not consistent enough with it. But the XC I've been very consistent with for the last couple of years.
And who are normally the guests?
I would say, so 3 out of 4 weeks now is solo. It's just me. The fourth week is always somebody who built a personal brand. And basically they explain, I try to dissect it, like talk shop and go, okay, how do you overcome insecurities? How do you build this? How do you start? How do you scale? What are the obstacles? How do you overcome those obstacles? Why even bothered building something like that is so hard to build? So I have people that are like, I have a bunch of them. They're either people who build personal brands. Like I have a buddy who knew golf and he knew video, and he created a YouTube channel, and it's huge, 1 billion downloads so far. And he's an authority now. You can look up Mr. Short Game on YouTube, and you'll find him right away. And he was broke, unemployed, couldn't find a job before that. And then he started that, and now he can live anywhere, do anything he wants, So stories like that I love. I have another friend who's a Brazilian, and he moved to London to be a banker. And he then was like, this is not for me, man, and started a marketing agency. Like, that's a big change. And then he was like, this is not for me, sold it. Then bought it back. Then he sold it again, and then he's like, it's not for me. Like, and I like those illustrations because it helps you understand that you don't have to just live somebody else's playbook, right? You can just burn the playbook, find what you're supposed to be doing, and then invest in that. So this guy's now a coach, doing really, really well, but it took a few turns, right? Sometimes it's just hard to find that edge.
I was going to ask you, why is personal branding important?
Well, it's basically your reputation. You already have one, right? On some level. So it's your reputation. That's what it is, right? So if, let's say, 50 people know what you do and what you're good at, 50 people can tell their friends. You've developed a personal brand. You start talking about this, you pick a platform, and you start solving other people's problems and publishing it. Okay, here's what I focus on. This is what you do. And you give it away. You're generous with your expertise. Instead of 50 people, it becomes 5,000 people. And so you become known to be and respected and trusted by more people, exponentially more people, while not doing more work, just publishing your work. So most people have expertise. Most people have expertise that can be productized essentially and created into a brand. We just don't learn the skills that are necessary to do that. So our skills sort of die with us essentially. They're that they don't have a personal brand. It's just, okay, what's the next job? If you have a personal brand, opportunities find you. You don't have to look for opportunities. And that's the big difference. It's your expertise at scale. And it's easier than ever to do it now. And you can serve more people in more places. You can reach anyone, anywhere. But you have to learn, okay, this is how it's done. So that's part of my coaching, is helping people, first of all, even believe in themselves that they can do it. Because most of us, we just don't think very highly of our skill set. And the truth is, we think that way because it's so familiar. It's too easy for them. So, look, if it's easy for me, how can it be valuable? And that's the bridge we need to close. Like, yeah, it's easy for you, but it's not easy for somebody else. So it is valuable.
Right.
So let's productize it. Let's package it. Let's create an offer. So we go from zero, from somebody with expertise, obviously. Like, if you have no expertise, then we can't help you. But we go from expertise to a brand with a business model in about 9 weeks for people who want to do it.
And how can people contact you if they want to sign up?
Well, they can go to exponential.life. Exponential is spelled without the E, starts with an X. Yeah, exponential.life, and you can see there's a really good test there on readiness of how ready you are to start a personal brand. It's free. You take like 50 questions, and it gives you a result. It's very cool. So it's free. You can access it there. And you can see testimonials, the focuses that we have. We focus on high performance. We focus on personal branding. And you can just reach out, set up a call, and we can talk.
All right. And I said, well, what would you like to say to your fans and supporters?
My fans and supporters. I don't think I have any fans anymore, like in the sense that I'm used to.
They still
Well,
out there.
they're not on your podcast. I can tell you that. I do have fans, actually. Yeah, every once in a while I get somebody go, man, you should do a tour and all of that stuff, and I'm like, no, thanks. This is done. But actually, never say never, right? Maybe someday. But when it comes to supporters, people that are resonating with me, I would say, look, where you live in a life, in a time in history where you can take your expertise and you can serve so many more people and make more money and have more impact and have more choices than ever before in your life. And yeah, it's not easy, or everybody would do it, but my gosh, it's worth it, right? So always look at your expertise and consider, what are the first steps? What are the first things that you can do to maybe start building a personal brand? And that might take you on a journey that will change the rest of your life.
Yeah, I would say, do you consider it, like you talking about personal branding? Is that the same as TikTok has the influencers? Is that the same, or is that different?
It is part of it, right? Because publishing is a big part of it, right? So it's, here's what I care about, here's what I know about. Let me publish regularly. And it could be short form, all kinds of platforms, long form for YouTube, newsletter, it could be books.
You mean by publish, you mean publish content?
Yeah, publish content, right? So content is definitely a vehicle for expertise. I think a personal brand is more than that. Personal brand is your ability to turn that expertise into money, clients, legacy, a business model. That's a personal brand. I think it's something that you can monetize. And you can interpret it differently. That's fine. But in my book, this is what it is. There's a difference between just, man, I have like 10,000 likes on YouTube, and yeah, and I'm laughing all the way to the bank because I have a paycheck from a sponsor, from advertising, and I have an offer on the back end of this. If people want for me to teach them how to do this, they can sign up for a program, a course, something else, right? So there's a way to do it where there's multiple streams of income. You have to work really hard at it. It's not easy, but it's life-changing for those who sort of figure it out.
All right. Well, I'll say thank you for coming through Politickin with me.
Thanks, brother.
No doubt. You got anything you want to leave with the listeners?
Yeah, man. Reach for the stars. Don't settle for the mediocre. Reach for the stars.
All right, man. What's your social media?
Instagram, Christian Ray Flores, one word. I think YouTube is the same. Yeah, and LinkedIn's the same, Christian Ray Flores.
All right, we'll make sure we follow you on there.
Thank you, brother.
All right, yeah, you got to send me that camera again.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll send you the.
Yeah,
remind me. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, the YouTube, the Amazon referral link. All right, man. You doing anything for the holidays? I know today we're talking on the holidays.
You know what? I just came back from spending, by the way, great advertising for personal branding, right? I just spent 2 months in Mexico on the beach. So I already did my holidaying before I came. I'm ready to work.
Where in Mexico were you at?
Playa del Carmen and then Puerto Vallarta.
Okay, you was relaxing. That's what you got 10.
I am, yeah, very tan. I'm like the darkest shade of me.
You almost like you my color almost.
Oh no, yeah, we're close.
All right, y'all. Till the next time, I'll be back on Wednesday with another interview with Omar Gooden. So make sure you check me out on Wednesday. And nice having you on the show today, Christian.
Thanks, Bo. Take care.
Yeah, we gotta. I'll talk to you in the future, man. I'm a big fan of coaching and leadership development, all that good stuff. So
sounds good, man.
You got something to talk about and you want to talk, let me know.
Yeah, all happy to do it, man.
All right, until the next time.
Take care.
Please. We hold on right quick.
The whole squad on the mission. You got to listen. We PoPolitickin.